Hello everyone, and welcome to Teodar's Guide to the Hammer Flashpoint from Star Wars The Old Republic. This video is meant to be a walkthrough to the important points such as sneaky pulls, tricks, and boss encounters of this flashpoint, and is told from the point of view of a Jedi Guardian playing the role of tank. At the time I did this, I was level 16. The video you'll see here is spliced together from two different groups I was in, so that's why the members keep changing. But what I want to show here is that the different group makeups fare equally well. All video was taken during the open beta during the weekend of November 26th through 28th, so some things may be slightly changed in the final release. The first thing I want to show is this pull. It's a few pulls in, but it's pretty difficult. What you'll want to do is CC the left big droid and keep him locked down. There's two little guys behind him that can also be CC'd, or just kill them first since they die quickly. Here, I'm taking the right of the two big droids, and behind him is also two security droids that I've picked up. Unfortunately, since this was a beta and I'm still pretty nubby, I broke the CC by doing my area of effect force dump. But in doing so, I picked up most of the aggro and kept everyone alive. However, I did have to hit a few panic buttons to stay up. Sadly, some of the other team members started splitting their DPS, so things didn't die quite as quickly as they should have. In some of the other groups I've tried this with, no one seemed to have an ECC, and until we were more geared and leveled, this was pretty much a guaranteed wipe. However, each time we were able to blow down one of the big bots before we all died, since trash doesn't respawn on a wipe, we were able to succeed the second time. Just after this pull, you'll find a room off to the left. If anyone in your group is a scavenger with a skill of at least 45, you can fix the generator, which activates the drill behind it. This is very nifty because it drills into another tunnel, skipping several trash pulls and taking you straight to the first boss. And here he is, DN-314 Tunneler. There's two things to watch out for this boss. The first is his mining beam, which, as you see, he's done straight away. From everything I've seen, it locks onto a random player and burns them for several seconds. It follows you so you can't run out, and taunts don't seem to refocus it. At level 16 I didn't have any interrupts, so I haven't tried that, but from other reports it doesn't seem to be interruptible either. The second ability is the summoning of several small demolition bots. In this video, you'll notice I have enemy nameplates turned on, which is a huge help in this fight. When the demolition bots are first summoned, they're neutral, yellow. However, after flitting about somewhat randomly, they'll turn aggressive, red. At this point, they'll remain stationary, do a short countdown, and explode, doing some pretty substantial damage to anyone in the vicinity. In some attempts, we tried killing these guys, which worked okay, but the better strategy was just to move away as they got ready to explode. The only danger on this would be if a healer has to do a great deal of running while someone is getting killed by the mining beam. But unless they've also just taken damage from a demolition bot, they should be fine to suck it up for several seconds. Unfortunately for me, my camera seemed to get caught on the rock or something, so I couldn't see to move away from a demolition bot, and I got killed for it. But the boss was nearly dead anyway, and the other teammates finished him off, and I got a nifty new lightsaber out of it, although I couldn't use it till level 17. In the next area, there's several foils where ads pop up seemingly out of nowhere, so I'll show you a few of those. The first one of these is two advos sitting apparently by themselves. As soon as they're engaged, 3 security bots will come down from the left. I didn't handle it well here, but here's a few strategies for dealing with it. The first is to save your force jump and just grab them, but that runs the risk of picking up a 4th bot, which is standing by the door. The better option is to have your healer stand just a wee bit down the hall you came in. They'll pick up healing aggro, and since they'll be out of line of sight, the security droids will be forced to come down the hall where you can grab them. Regardless, they're not too tough anyway, but better be safe than sorry. After defeating another big droid, and a bit later, you'll find a deactivated elevator off to the left. If you have a slicer with the appropriate skills, you can reactivate it, and again skip several minutes worth of trash. A few pulls later and you'll find this group with a pipe off to the right that you can shoot. Doing so will spill some sort of liquid all over the floor. Initially it doesn't seem to do much, but you'll see there's a second object with which you can interact, which sets the whole thing on fire. Sadly, none of our range picked up on this until these guys were almost dead. Just after that, there will be another big droid that patrols in front of the platform. If you hug the right wall, you can skip him, but if not, feel free to take him right in front of that platform where he walks. As you can see here, you're not actually close enough to pull the next group. And now for the second boss. There's 3 guys in this room. The center guy is the main boss, Volcano. Just to the right of him is Sawtooth, and on the left is Torch. We tried a few strategies, but what you see here is what seemed to work the most smoothly. As a tank, I picked up Sawtooth and the main boss and pulled them off to the right. Another melee picked up Torch and held him where he stood. We took out Sawtooth first since he can heal. The reason we kept him separate from Torch is because Torch has a flamethrower, so we suspected that he could do some sort of AoE damage, so to keep things reduced, we just kept him off by himself. Eventually, Sawtooth got a shield which reduced damage done by 50%, but we burned through that quickly, and eventually just started beating down on Torch. With him dead, Volcano became just an easy tank and spank, and on rare occasion he would leap at someone, but he tends to come right back. Since I remembered to record 2 different defeats of this boss, here's the 2 different loops that we've seen him drop. Next, the group needs to interact with the console behind the boss. You'll have the choice to disable the security or blow it up, killing lots of guys that you probably would have killed anyway. Sparing them the temporary death gives you 100 light side points. Killing them gets you dark side points. This seems to occur every time you do the flashpoint, so it's not just a one-time deal. There's another pull that has an ambush shortly thereafter. Again, there's 2 advos, and when they're pulled, 3 security droids pop out. This time I knew it was coming and handled it much better. I saved the Jedi jump to pick them up, and the AoE force burst to get aggro. The advos aren't elite, so they died pretty quickly and we just finished off the security droids after that. The next word of caution is this bridge. Normally it's blue, but when it turns red, don't be on it because it disappears and a huge rock comes shooting through, which is the point of the whole station, to launch giant rocks at cities from orbit and demolish them. Right after the bridge there's another big droid, but after you kill him, make sure to head to the left because there's a chest with some random greens in it. There's a few more easy pulls, and then comes the final boss. This guy seems to be pretty challenging. Immediately on engaging him, he'll do a knockback, which he does every so often, so you may want to save a Jedi jump to give it back to him. The other thing he'll do pretty quickly is this barrage. It randomly targets a player and does a narrow cone of damage which will drain your health pretty quickly, so it's best to strafe out of it as soon as possible. Additionally, try to keep your party spread out so it doesn't actually hit several people at once. The second ability he does is these grenades that he tosses out. You'll see them as red circles on the ground. Move just beyond their border to avoid them, and once you see the crater form, it's safe to step back in. Here in the beta, I've noticed some glitches where they don't appear with red circles. However, you can still see the grenades pretty obviously on the floor, so if that's not fixed by the full release, just keep an eye out for that. The last pain this guy does is summoning several advos. There doesn't seem to be a set number. Sometimes we got 2, other times we got 4. They come from many different points around the edges of the platform, so you'll need to keep a constant lookout for them. Unfortunately, as you can see here, just because the boss dies doesn't mean the advos get scared and run off. It looked like they had, so we all stopped paying attention and died for it. So if there's some still up, don't get too excited. Currently, this guy doesn't drop any loot, so there's nothing for me to show you here. But once you've defeated him, there's a door the way you came in, and that's the end of the flashpoint. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.